G'day everybody, Ed here, and thank you for joining me on this part 2, sort of this state of internet marketing as I've seen it, and particularly how things are changing and how I'm finding that's impacting business. And yesterday we talked about the fact that, maybe once you reach a certain level, the one-man band, the traditional, solo entrepreneur, may not be the smartest way to go. These businesses are maturing. Some people are suggesting that that's something that a Rich Sheffrin or a Jay Abraham or that type of person has suggested, and I certainly concur with that because of the nature of what you have to do to optimize, and particularly about today's topic, which is traffic. The internet business is a very, very simple business. I've said this before, I'll say it again for the purposes of these videos. It is a symphony of 4 parts. First part 1, is market research. Great thing about market research is that is something you can do by yourself, and it is absolutely the most vital part of the process. It's interesting, I'm a member of Stompernet, and there are some people who are kicking great goals, and there are some people who are struggling a little bit. 99 times out of 100, the people who are struggling, the problem could have been fixed with better market research. It really is such a fundamental. When we're doing the 30-day challenge, when I was getting in there and trying to help people that couldn't get their fly catchers to work, or they couldn't get whatever part of the process to work, 9 times out of 10, it came down to the research and something that could have easily been discovered. So that's why market research is number 1. Number 2, after research, and these are ranked in order of importance, is traffic. Because without traffic, it doesn't matter how good you have of number 3, a conversion engine, some way to convince people to give you money, and 4, which is the ranked in order of importance, the product. None of those things, doesn't matter how good they are, if you don't have any traffic in the first place. And people overcomplicate traffic in the sense that, really, what are you after? When you're starting out, you're after one thing. You want 200 people a day looking at your offer. That's the target. Now, if you're running a traditional name squeeze type of page, that can actually be very tricky, because often your name squeeze opt-in rates, the page where people give you their name and email address, as opposed to the sales letter page, your conversion page, is, if you're lucky, 10%, 15%. Which means that even if you attract 200 people to your name squeeze page, that doesn't mean that 200 people have seen your offer. In fact, it means that a lot less, maybe 20, have seen your offer. Now, there are some new techniques, and Dan Rain and his Immediate Edge program has talked about the light squeeze technique, which is another great way of increasing that. But the point remains the same, that you need, basically, to start off with, you need 200 people a day getting a look at your offer. And that's really important. Now, how do you get those 200 people today? There are 2 schools. There is pay-per-click, and then there is the search engine optimization crowd, if you will. They're the 2. Everything is a derivative of those themes. Free traffic and paid for traffic. Now, if you've been listening to me for any amount of time, you'll know that I was a massive, massive advocate for pay-per-click. You could control it. It was in your control. You could control the costs. You could turn it on and off at will. It was completely in your control. Search engine optimization was something that, frankly, I disparaged it. I really felt that for your average person, it was a complete waste of time, because you really needed to be a propeller head to do all of it, and the amount of effort that you had to put in just for Google to change the rules of the game just didn't seem worth it to me. It just seemed nuts. Well, here we are on record as part 2 of this series. I have completely changed my mind. And there are two things that have made me do that. First thing, one is I mentioned Dan's Immediate Edge program, which is still taking members, and you can have a look at that. Videos are not for selling stuff, so I'll just pop a link on the blog. If you want to click it, click. If you don't, please. It's not the point of these videos. The second thing was Stompernet, which you can't join. And what I've discovered is that not only is search engine optimization, that's actually a bad name, because it's really about utilizing all the techniques to enable free traffic to somehow put your product or service in front of a stream of people that are already in the ballpark of thinking about your particular product. So, for example, if you were in the trout fishing market, you find a way to get your site in front of people who are already swimming, pardon the pun, in the trout fishing traffic stream. And what surprised me is A, how relatively easy it is, B, how quickly it is to work, and C, how good it is to manage. And I've seen this on a couple of projects that I've been doing recently. It's almost to the point, and in fact, in my most recent content project that I've been doing with Snowboard John, we have actually done the search engine optimization stuff first, before we did pay-per-click. And anybody who knows me knows that is a dramatic change. But it almost makes sense for it to do it. We're testing it out, but it certainly, in this particular category, has worked, and worked a treat. It's just like all things in life, if you don't understand it, then it all seems really, really hard. In this day and age, you have to understand the whole search engine optimization thing. And fortunately, there are places where you can learn that. Not from me, I'm a student like you. But the level of sophistication that they've got there. And that led me to yesterday's video, really, because when you think about it, a lot of that search engine optimization requires you to put together articles. It requires you to lodge those articles in literally dozens of different places. It requires you to look at all the Web 2.0 social networking strategies, some of which, such as YouTube, for example, have the capability of delivering incredible amounts of traffic to a site. So it's a real web. If you have a look at a mind map of one of our projects, for example, you'll see that there is literally a couple of dozen different areas where you have to operate in, and that's where it makes sense from the e-myth perspective, or the making it a real business perspective, of categorizing that all up, dividing that all up, and then outsourcing that out for $7 an hour, making it really, really simple for people to do. So that's the big lesson out of today is this search engine optimization is something. If you're going to be involved in internet marketing in 2007 and beyond, you really need to A, get across it, B, partner up with somebody who is across it, which is also a very, very good way to do it. Now, you might have heard of the long tail. The long tail expression, as it's used in internet marketing, springs from a book which was written by the editor of Wired, and it talked about this incredible phenomena of the long tail. Now, because we're incredibly multimedia and no cost is spared in the production of these videos, I've prepared a graphic. Here it is. There's the classic long tail chart. Now you can see this end. This is traditional, where all the sales are. If you can imagine this is iTunes Music Store. You'll see the vast majority of sales are produced by a relatively very small number of records. Okay? But as you come down here, you'll notice that this tail, it just keeps on going. And if you actually kept this going out here, you'd find that it never reaches zero. And this is an incredible phenomenon. Like in Amazon and in iTunes, for example, pretty much every single audio or every single song has sold at least a few times over a 12-month period. That's quite extraordinary when you think about it. Don't worry, I'll come back to my high-tech graphic in a second. Pretty extraordinary when you think about it. And this is where this search engine optimization is really starting to get a kick along, because, and we'll refer to my $1 million graphic Now, get the lighting right. There we are. If you start doing if you're trying to search engine optimize in here, in say the top 100, the top 10 or top 15 phrases which deliver most of the traffic, say in trout fishing, for example, you're going to be in heavy competition. But as you come out here, that's still a lot of traffic. When you add up from here to here, remember we're only after 200 people a day. We want 200 people a day. That's our game. And when you're starting out, there's easily 200 people out here. And of course, nobody's bothered to do any of the search engine stuff out here in the long tail. And that is not my genius. No. That is the genius of a lot of clever people. And as I say, I've learned a hell of a lot off Dan Rain and the Immediate Edge and being part of the whole Stompernet process. But that's where it's become important. And so that's as I say, second part, 2007, the importance of looking at search engine. Now, to converse that, why have I gone off pay-per-click? I haven't gone off pay-per-click, and these aren't mutually exclusive. For goodness sake, no. Any excellent niche is going to have encompass both of these, which lets me highlight tomorrow's topic, the go deep or go wide topic, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow. With this traffic stuff, you really need to be across it all. But pay-per-click has become less reliable because of the way Google has been managing it, and I'm sure Yahoo, MSN and others will follow with their quality scores and all these sorts of things. It has meant that, as I said yesterday, dumping 30,000 keywords and getting 5 cents a click is not an option anymore. You have to work the pay-per-click stuff. You have to work it really hard. You have to start small and build up. It's the only viable strategy. And you have to have message to market match. You have to make sure your phrase matches your Google ad, matches the page that it's going to land on. It's just that's the way it is, which involves a lot more work. And the certainty has been taken out because, in fact, in the last 12 months, Google has changed their pay-per-click algorithm more times than they've changed their search algorithm, which has meant your work in search engine optimization has held up a lot longer than any work that you've done in pay-per-click, which is frustrating. And however, this is no use bitching about it. That's the way it is, and that's the way we deal with it. But that has led me to start to bring the whole search engine optimization up to a level with pay-per-click, and it has to be part of any internet marketing business strategy going forward. Thanks for all the feedback, and I appreciate if you rank the video if you like what I've said, or if you don't, rank it appropriately. And please leave comments because I do read them. But tomorrow we're going to talk about the go deep or go wide phenom. And for many years I've been a go wide man. When I sold all my sites, I had 38, and I went wide. They were hardly optimized. They were the bare bones of a process. The alternative is go deep, and after Orlando, I've had to change my approach, and I'll tell you exactly why in the next video. Hope you're enjoying them. Speak soon.